The last light in the village. In a small village surrounded by green mountains, there lived a 15-year-old boy named Daniel. He was quiet, kind, and always curious about the world beyond his village. Daniel lived with his mother in a small wooden house near the edge of the forest. His father had passed away several years earlier, so Daniel helped his mother with everything he could. Every morning he carried water from the river, collected firewood, and helped his mother in their little garden. But Daniel had one dream: he wanted to become a teacher. He believed that education could change people's lives. Unfortunately, there was no school in his village. The nearest school was many miles away, across the mountains. Daniel could not afford to travel there every day. Still, he never stopped learning. Every evening he sat under an old tree and read the few books he owned. One winter evening, something unusual happened. The village suddenly lost all electricity. The houses became dark. The streets became silent. People stayed inside because the night was extremely cold. Daniel looked outside his window and noticed a small light shining deep inside the forest. He had never seen a light there before. His curiosity grew. Where is that light coming from, he wondered. The next morning, Daniel decided to investigate. He packed some bread and water and walked toward the forest. After walking for nearly an hour, he found an old stone house hidden among the trees. There was a small lantern hanging beside the door. Daniel knocked. No one answered. He knocked again. Finally, an old man opened the door. The man had a long white beard and kind eyes. "Who are you?" the old man asked. "My name is Daniel. I live in the village. I saw the light from your house last night." The old man smiled. "My name is Samuel. Come inside. It is cold outside." Daniel entered the house. Inside he saw hundreds of books. There were books on science, history, mathematics, nature, and many other subjects. Daniel's eyes became wide with excitement. "You have so many books!" Samuel laughed. "I have spent my entire life collecting them." Daniel picked up a book and began reading. Samuel watched him carefully. "You love learning, don't you?" "Yes," Daniel replied, "but there is no school in my village." Samuel became quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Perhaps you don't need a school. Perhaps you need a teacher." Daniel looked at him. "Are you a teacher?" Samuel smiled. "I used to be." From that day onward, Daniel began visiting Samuel every afternoon. Samuel taught him mathematics, science, history, and English. But he also taught him something more important. He taught Daniel never to give up. Weeks passed. Daniel became more confident. One day, Samuel gave him a notebook. "Write down everything you learn," he said. Daniel started writing. Soon, he began teaching other children in the village what he had learned. At first, only 3 children came. Then 5. Then 10. Every evening, Daniel gathered the children under the old tree. He taught them mathematics using stones. He taught them English using old books. He taught them science by observing plants, animals, and the stars. The villagers were surprised. They had never seen their children so excited about learning. One evening, Daniel returned to Samuel's house. But the door was locked. He knocked several times. There was no answer. Daniel became worried. He looked around the house and found a letter under the lantern. The letter was addressed to him. Daniel opened it. It said, "Dear Daniel, if you are reading this, I have already left. Do not be sad. I came to this forest many years ago because I wanted to escape from the world. But meeting you reminded me why knowledge matters. A book is not valuable because it sits on a shelf. A book becomes valuable when its knowledge is shared. You once told me that you wanted to become a teacher. Now you already are one. Do not wait for someone to build a school for you. Build one yourself. Believe in your dream. Samuel." Daniel's eyes filled with tears. He looked at the hundreds of books inside the house. Then he understood what Samuel wanted him to do. The next morning, Daniel went to the village leader. "I want to build a school," he said. The villagers laughed. "With what money?" Daniel replied, "We don't need a big building. We just need a place where children can learn." He showed them Samuel's books. Slowly, the villagers began helping him. One family donated wooden boards. Another donated chairs. Someone brought a blackboard. Another person donated lamps. Within a few months, a small school was built near the old tree. Daniel named it the Last Light School. Years passed. The small school became famous in nearby villages. Children traveled from far away to study there. Daniel continued learning, and eventually became a professional teacher, but he never forgot Samuel. One evening many years later, Daniel was sitting beneath the same old tree. A little girl approached him. "Teacher, can you tell me something?" Daniel smiled. "What do you want to know? Who taught you everything?" Daniel looked toward the forest. He smiled and said, "An old man once showed me that knowledge is a light. And when you share that light, it never becomes smaller." The girl smiled. "Will you teach me?" Daniel opened a book. "Of course." As the sun slowly disappeared behind the mountains, the windows of the little school began to glow. One by one, the lights came on. And Daniel realized something. Sometimes, a person does not need to change the whole world. Sometimes, changing one life is enough. Because that one life may change another, and another, and another, until one small light becomes 1,000 lights. That night, Daniel looked toward the forest. Far away, between the trees, he thought he saw a small lantern glowing. He smiled. Perhaps Samuel was still somewhere out there. Or perhaps the light was simply a reminder that dreams can survive difficult times. A reminder that knowledge can change lives, and most importantly, a reminder that the brightest light is the one we choose to share with others.